Hi everybody, it's Amy, also known as Aussie Stitcher in Texas, here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. I'm here with you today on October 1st, 2025, and this is Flosstube number 41. Before I get started, I just wanted to say a big thank you to all of my returning viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for coming back time and time again. I really do appreciate it. And if you are new here, welcome. This is my Flosstube channel, if you've clicked on it, where I'm going to show you all of my pieces that I've worked on for the month of September. I do monthly updates, so it's everything I worked on within the month. And for September, I worked on 8 projects. I did get one finish, no new starts, but a good amount of progress in for the month. I stitched 15,769 stitches, so I'm very happy with that number. But let's jump right in. So first off is my finish. So this is Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Mathews. I actually won't show you what it'll look like when it's finished because it's finished. But here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. So I did only have 1,269 stitches to go on this. So when I saw that on my spreadsheet, I thought, let's just knock that out and get this finished for this month. So here is our finish. I have stitched this on a 40 count verdal in the color something. Grogg? Nope. No, that's not right. I think it's Grogg. If not, I will correct it in the comments. It is by BeStitchMe, 40 count verdal, using the DMC conversion. I didn't use the fancy floss. And I also changed, so the original has where it says Autumn Harvest, it is All Hallows Eve, and I've changed that to Autumn Harvest using the Georgia Girl Stitching conversion that she offers. So those 2 little leaves on the side of Autumn Harvest are also different. They are crows on the original, but they are leaves on mine and Autumn Harvest. So this will go into my finishes pile, maybe one day to be completed, maybe not. To be fully finished. We shall see. I'm not the best at fully finishing things, but I would like to fully, it's just not a skill I really possess. Next up is, so one of my Whip Go calls for the month was to work on a fancy lady, and for me, the only one I have on the go right now is Persephone by Mirabilia. I am stitching this on a 32 count lugana in the color Briar Rose by Fabrics by Stephanie. Here's what it looks like the last time that you saw her. So her goal was to work on for 1,000 stitches. And I did the 1,000 and then brought her back out again towards the end of the month and did 2,481 stitches on this. Let me corral her a little bit. Here's where we're up to. So I did a lot more in the dress and worked on the sides a little bit. I am removing the background from this. I'm not doing all of that background that's in the design. I like the fabric. It's a beautiful fabric and I don't want to cover that up with stitching. But one thing I really do love about Mirabilias, as much as they're like huge and can be a bit of a pain in some ways, when you get into the dress sections, there's always so much dress, so that like if you're in a section over here and you're done with that color, there's going to be a section up here that calls for that color, so I can finish off the thread on my needle, and I feel like that saves time, that you're not having to thread and unthread needles just because you want to stay in this section. I'm fine branching out and finishing the thread on my needle. I find it more efficient and just knocks some things out a bit quicker, But that is Persephone. And I have hit the 50% mark on her. I am at 51%. And that includes accounting for the beads. It doesn't include accounting for the back stitch, but I've done all of the back stitch kind of on her and her arms and stuff. There's a little bit of back stitch and whatnot in the dress, but that I will do at the end, potentially. Some of it I kind of looked at and started to do, then realized I still had stitching to do, so didn't. So like along her bodice here, and couldn't really see it. So I'm not a fan of doing backstitch if it's not enhancing the piece, because why put myself through that, But I am really enjoying her. I'll be very happy It's always great to pull it out and work on, very easy. I'm really finding that I love working on 32 count lugana, just the way it feels. I love how my stitches sit. So I'm really in that happy place with 32 count lugana right now. So I've been kind of drawn to more pieces of that I have on that fabric. Sorry, my hair is driving me insane. Okay, next up was my other Whip Go piece for September. It was to work on alternative reality for 600 stitches. I also work on this monthly for 2,000 stitches. So this got 2,617 stitches. Here's what it looks like the last time that you saw it. And I have finished another row. So I'm working on this in the Royal Rose method, kind of like a typewriter. So I come across, hit all the way to the end, and then bring it back. And then not a huge amount of parking. I do park because there is, a bit of confetti in some spaces. But if it's not a lot of thread on my needle or not a lot of stitches left in that kind of row below, I will just finish it off. So you can see how I kind of go a little bit rogue in some places just to finish off the thread, so I don't have as many hanging threads, because I've moved really away from parking. I don't love it, but it does definitely help with a piece like this, where especially in her dress, the confetti is crazy, but look how good it looks on camera. Like, it is absolutely stunning. The way those little lights look like they're glowing, and her dress has like a shimmer to it. Ugh. Absolutely love this. This is by far my biggest piece. I mean, it is a full coverage. It is at 50%, so I've hit that 50% mark, I think, last month in August. Really the month before now, because we're in October. And it is about 125,000 stitches, I think. So yeah, my biggest piece, and absolutely, it doesn't make me want to do 100 Heaven and Earth designs, don't get me wrong, but I'm very happy with it and that I'm doing it. So, okay, next up on my list is Hyperborea by Owl Forest Embroidery. Here's what it will look like when it's finished. I purchased the kit for this from Owl Forest, so it's using all the kit materials, the Owl Forest flosses, and the 32 count Murano even weave that it came with. I would have thrown up what it looked like the last time that you saw it. This is a long, like, bell pull type piece, but, horizontal. And here's where we're up to. So I've almost finished that last bear. So I was in this section on this side. So everything is finished on this side, working, and then I worked my way over. Sorry, no hiccups. And I worked on the bear. I did 2,128 stitches on this, and this now has less than 2,000 stitches to go. So the next time I pull this out, I will finish it. That is the plan, because that's usually what happens when I get down to less than 2,000. That's finishable to me, bearing it's not like a crazy busy month or anything like that if I don't have a lot of travel. But very happy with that. I do enjoy Owl Forest pieces. The floss is absolutely gorgeous to work with. I'm working on another Owl Forest. I did not buy the kit or the floss for, just because it was just a little cost prohibitive. Maybe when that calms down, I'll buy more of their stuff. But for right now, costs do not allow for me to do that. Moving on is my White Swan by Jasmine Beckett Griffith. It is a Heaven and Earth Designs. Faces a Faery something, 193. So this is a piece that I really want to have finished this year. So I work on it every month for a minimum of 1,544 stitches. This month I got 1,640 stitches. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I am very much on track to have this finished by the end of this year. Here is what it looks like now. So I'm almost at the bottom. So there's really only another block of 10, and then I think about half of the next block of 10. I was tempted to kind of just go down so that when I'm working over now, it's kind of like just finishing it, but I didn't for some reason. I don't know why. But this is on a 16 count aida. using all the called for DMC. I have her companion piece that I stitched on a 32 count lugana. So they'll be the same size at the end of the day. They're both 175 by 175. I really do need to figure out how to get her framed because it's just a square. I should, you know, figure out how to do that myself and save some money. I just need to do my measurements and figure out what kind of frame it will fit, but I absolutely love her. Now we're going to get into Confetti Central with this swan, I believe. Like, this is kind of blocky for the most part, but then this is going to be crazy, especially when you're like, look up here and this looks like glass. I love that. That's so, the effect is so crazy to me. And like the feathers, oh, they do such a good job with the charting. So that is Faces of Faery 193, or the White Swan, is on track to be finished this year. So we'll see. So my January update, you'll see a finished product there. Next up, I wanted to work on some more 32 count lugana, so I looked in my stash to see what projects I have that are on that count. One of which is Deadly Aquarium by Lola Crow. So this was the stitch along for, I believe it was last year. This year was the Extraordinary Bird, so I think this was the year before. I did not purchase this as part of the stitch along. I made the executive decision to no longer participate in stitch alongs. I want to wait until the piece is out and not get caught up in the FOMO and then buy something that at the end of the day, maybe I didn't want to stitch, but have put so much effort in that I finish it anyway. So now I control myself and I wait for pieces to be finished and then I'll purchase from there. And it has saved me a bit because there's been some that I'm like, oh, yep, I want that. And then later on, you know, your style changes and things like that. And I, you know, ended up saving myself the money and the time. But here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I worked on this for 2,082 stitches. I'm stitching this on a 32 count lugana in the color Neptune by Under the Sea Fabrics. I probably could, I did a middle start, so I probably wasted a lot of fabric, but you know, it was such an odd, like the way the shapes were, I just didn't trust myself to do like a top left start and not mess myself up. So I was like, you know what, if I waste a little bit of fabric, I waste a little bit of fabric. But I worked on kind of in this section. So we did the shark, those jellyfish, these fish. I did obviously all of the top bit here. That's all done. I finished off these thingies, which are cute, but are a little bit annoying because there's one cross stitch and then the rest is back stitch. So there's not a lot of anchoring points. So I would make myself, I shouldn't say make myself, but for the white, I would stitch other crosses, and then when I would have a fresh length and I could do the loop start, I would then do this bit, because then at least I'm only having, there's less to anchor as such, and then would go stitch more of this, let that thread run out, new thread, do that, do a little bit more, new thread, do that, etc., etc. So, but I really like this. My plan is to have this like on my desk at work because, you know, aquariums are soothing, even if this is a deadly one. And sometimes we need some soothingness. 32 count lugana in the color Neptune by Under the Sea Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month, so I'm not sure if it's part of her like standard line or anything. I know some of the fabric of the months end up becoming part of the standard line, but I'm not sure if this one is. So 2 more projects to go. Next up is The Pirate by Cottage Garden Samplings. Sorry for the glare. Not really the season, but again, I was still wanting to work on the 32 count lugana. So this is what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I'm stitching this on a 32 count lugana in the color Proserpine by Under the Sea Fabrics. Again, it was a fabric of the month. I stitched on this for 1,543 stitches, and this is where we're up to. So I have finished the snowman. He is all done, and he is roughly 60% of the pattern. I am using the called for DMC, and then I changed out the jacket, which is called for, I think, Classic Colorworks Wild Berries. I am using Strawberry by Color and Cotton that I got in a Black Needle Society box. So I pulled from stash for that. So that's the kind of the variegation that you see there. It's a little bit darker on the model, and hindsight being I had a darker kind of variegated that I didn't use for this, but it's also not very variegated, whereas this had a little bit more variegation to it. So, but now I'm working on the ships, and yeah, just a little offcut of my fabric. So that is also, that could be a finish this year, maybe. I think I'm a little over 2,000 stitches to go on that one. Actually, maybe closer to 3, but we shall see. Finally, I worked on another full coverage, and that is The King of Flowers by Luca-S. So here's what it will look like when it's finished. The artwork is by this person that I can't pronounce. I'm using all the kit materials. It is on a 16 count aida. And I do have this in Pattern Keeper. So I know some of the patterns now from Luca-S, when you buy them, they come with a QR code, so you can use that to upload to get the digital and then upload to Pattern Keeper. I emailed them and kind of took a photo of my kit, and they sent me the kit, the PDF, I should say, and then I uploaded that to Pattern Keeper. They do use their own floss for this one. Some use Anchor, some use their own floss. And so that doesn't upload. So what I did is I went through and used, they do have a conversion tool to kind of do the DMC equivalent, so I can at least get the colors in there and do the mock-up and things like that. And I use the symbol, obviously, to track which one I should be stitching. That was a lot of talking. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I did 2,009 stitches on this because I wanted to get to that 2,000 mark. And here's where we're at. So I am now, forgive my poor ironing skills, I reached the bottom, so it was a lot of working on this section, so not a lot of pretty colors. I did do some blue up here, but I wanted to get to the bottom and start working my way in, just so I can not have such a tight margin when it's in my Q-snap, you know, I can start pushing this further along. But this is absolutely beautiful. I love the effect of like the marbling and the watercolor of the flowers, and oh, it's just so pretty. I'll definitely do more Luca-S, I think. There's the tiger one that I really, really want that one. So pretty. So that is everything that I worked on in September. Like I said, that's 15,769 stitches. So very proud of that number. And yeah, it was 8 pieces. Everything felt good, everything went well, didn't have too many issues, which is always nice. You know, some days we just, you know, we're great at making a mistake every single time. It's the wrong color, it's the wrong, you know, you counted too far over. We all have those days, but my month was pretty good, I'm happy to say. But if you're all here for the stitching, thank you so much for watching. If you give me a thumbs up, that'd be fantastic. I have a little bit of plans and one piece of haul if you want to stick around for that. So as far as plans go, the numbers that were called for Whip Go were number 6 and number 17. Number 6 for me was Quaker Pumpkins, which I have already finished. So, you know, yay, that's a freebie for me. And then Vlada X Stitch. So I have a bumblebee pattern that I'll be working on for 1,000 stitches. That is, I looked on my handy dandy spreadsheet, that is also not too far over 2,000 stitches. So depending on how the month goes, I may just try to get that one finished because I've only had 4 finishes this year, which is lower than normal, but I have a lot more bigger projects this year. Last year I finished 20 something projects, but I had a lot of smalls that I had been working on. This year I have more bigger projects, so it's only natural that there would be less finishes. But if I can get some of my smaller pieces finished, that'll just make me feel better and get my whip count down. I'm at 16 right now. I'm kind of okay with that, but I don't want to get to the point where I'm not okay with it and then kind of have paralysis, decision paralysis, and everything just stops. So I kind of want to whip down a little bit and just get that to maybe around the 12 or 13 mark. That I'm more happy with, because that when I start a new project, I'm okay with it. And then we'll go from there. I'll work on Alternative Reality again for its 2,000 stitches, my White Swan for its 1,544 minimum stitches, and then just kind of what I want when I want. I may do a new start, I may not. I'm going away towards the end of the year, so I want to have a couple of easy pieces to do that I can travel with. So that'll be things that are on like an aida or a 32 count, not a dark fabric, that kind of thing. That'll just make it easier as I'm traveling. So I may need to start something if I finish something along the like my B from Vlada X Stitch, because that's an easy travel type piece. But we'll see how that goes. And then yeah, for the rest of it, I'll just stitch whatever. As far as haul goes, I have one piece, which let me lean over. So I bought from Forbidden Fibre Co. I have been buying these for a couple of months now. The kind of a cord of thorns and roses. Sorry, the Flosstube itchy nose. Kits. I have winter court, summer court, spring court, and now I have autumn court. So I have that kit. Here is the bag that it comes with. And then, I mean, spoilers if you've purchased one, this came about a couple weeks ago. So the kit comes with, you get your choice of fabric. So I've been choosing the 28 count Lugana. This color is cobblestone for this one. Let me pull it out because otherwise it'll, so it's kind of like a gray purple. The purple is not going to show up because purple never shows up. So it's just a little fat eighth, but it's coming. Yeah, that's a little bit better as far as the color goes. A little bit more accurate back here. It's a little bit dull. If I bring it in, it goes much lighter. It's darker than that. So I have my fabric. Put that back in later. It comes with all the things. So the pattern is, oh, it's gonna take that as well for you people. So here is the pattern. Autumn Court. So if you can't read it, it says, walking through the woods of the autumn court feels like striding inside a jewelry box with a cute little fox. So there's that. It comes with a needle minder, which is also a fox, which makes sense. And then it comes with the floss. So it comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. We have Midas Touch, which I have from other patterns of theirs. So I'm kind of building up a stash of this one. The next one is Viscount, which is like a reddy brown. Candelabra, an orangey brown. Black Magic, which is just, you know, a straight up kind of gray black. Dark Walnut, nice brown. Paper White, paper white, so white. Tortoise or tortoise, I don't know what's right, what's wrong. It's got some nice variation to it. So those are the colors that it comes with and the kit. So I do believe they're still available for sale on her website. These kits are so much fun. So far, they're not patterns I would stitch for the most part. This one I do like, and the other ones have aspects I like, so I might stitch some of them. But I do really like the project bags that they come with. So, I mean, that's really the reason I buy it. And I do like her floss. I'm stitching her Empyrean, so like the Fourth Wing series. I'm stitching that and using I bought the kit for that. And I really do like her floss. So if you're ever on the fence, oh my God, I can't put this away. Considering Forbidden Fibre Co. floss, it is very nice to work with. It very minimal tangles. So yeah, very good. And the colors are nice. It feels good. It's not like starchy or anything. You know, some hand-dyed flosses can feel a little weird. It doesn't feel like that at all. Very nice. But that is everything. Thank you so much, everybody who decided to stick around and hear me ramble. Sorry, a little fluff. I hope you all have an amazing month ahead. Happy October. It is kind of starting to cool down here in Texas. The days are hot, but the mornings are lovely. So for the first time in question mark amount of months, I've been able to open my windows, which has been the best. I absolutely love being able to do that. So have a great month ahead, everyone. I hope you have some good time stitching. Have a good one. Bye.